Hi guys, Corey from Northeast Guys here, and I'm here doing a deck profile on one of my favourite decks at the moment, which is King Cold. I've been playing this deck for a few weeks, a few months now. Very, very fun deck. I've thoroughly enjoyed playing it. It's if played right, it can be extremely competitive, and even if you just want to play for casual play, it's very, very good. Fun deck overall. I recommend picking it up. Um, it's been kicking about here and there a lot in the competitive scene and just in casual scenes in general. So I'm going to assume what you know what most of the cards do. But for those who don't know, I'll quickly run down what some of them do, and I'll explain the cards that I think are probably needed to be explained anyway. So starting off with the leader, it has a permanent on both sides, which basically means every field in your deck you can play for 1 energy. Very, very good. Um, Also, when this card is placed in the leader area, you get to play this directly from your deck, which is really, really good. So it pretty much starts in your battle area, like most leaders these days. Has an effect where once per turn, when you activate a field, you can take a life and draw a card, which is really, really good for self-awakening and just hand advantage in general. Awaken at 4 less, untap 2, flip it over. Flip side, once again, has that same permanent. When you activate a field, you get to draw a card, so maintaining hand advantage is very, very good. Has a really decent active battle effect, which is good for aggressive pressure and defensive combo power. You can pop one of your own fields to gain 10k for the battle, and some fields in the deck have effects that when you pop them, you do just good stuff, basically. Pretty good. So, King Cold's Dynasty. You start with this, like the leader says. It's got a load of words, a lot of text. Basically, it's a barrier field, and to put it simply, you can play as many fields in your battle area as you want, but you can only have 1 copy of each in your battle area at a time. So, for example, we have a field here like New Ruler. If I have a copy of New Ruler in my battle area already, I can't activate another copy by replacing the one in the battle area. I have to first remove the one that is in the battle area before I can even attempt to play a second copy. But removing fields in your battle area is very easy to do, and there's some cards in the deck that makes it a lot easier. So, like I say, your leader's active battle can do it aggressively and defensively, and there are other cards in the deck that we'll get to that can do it just as easy. But that's the leader and field. So I'm going to start off with the extra cards, well, the field cards basically, and to start off, we're playing 4 copies of a New Ruler, which is pretty much the best starter card of the deck. When activated, you take a life, or you can take a life, and you search top 3 and add any green card to hand, and then bottom deck the remaining cards. When it's popped, you can draw 1 card and discard 1 card, so it's very good for filtering out and finding pieces that you need to finish the game. It's very good. The next cards I play is 3 copies of Terrified Realization. I know a lot of people have different ratios on these cards and whatnot. I know a lot of people tend to play 2 copies of this and 4 copies of this, but me personally, I'm playing a 3-3 split. This is the numbers that I feel comfortable with. I've been playing this deck for a long time now, and I just feel comfortable having 3-3. If you want to play 4-2, by all means go for it. Just use this list as an example of what you could play for your deck, or maybe it can give you inspiration on what you can play, just in general. When this one is activated, you can take a life and draw card, and it has a permanent. If there is a total of 4 more fields in your battle area, all your Freezer Clan battle cards gain 5k, basically gain 5k. Very strong. It's really good for bumping up your battle cards to attack for aggressive pressure. Anticipated Onslaught. When activated, you draw a card, and you can play a battle card with an energy cost of 2 or less, which is a Freezer Army or Freezer Clan. And I will explain what the targets are for this later in the video, but it's a very, very good card. It also has a second effect. When one of your fields is popped other than itself, you can kill a 2 or less battle card the opponent has in play. Very good. It's a nice little card to remove, like little weenie cards or potentially cards that might be a threat later game. I also run 2 copies of Unstoppable Invasion. When activated, you can give your leader double strike and 10,000. You can also take a life if you want to, but it's not mandatory. And when it's popped, you can rip a marker from an opponent's unison, which is very, very good. It's quite easy in this deck to kill high-cost unisons. For the negates, I do play 4 copies of Royal Supremacy and 1 copy of Homicidal Clones. Once again, I feel comfortable with these numbers. If you want to up the numbers or change them in any way, shape, or form, go for it. But for Royal Supremacy, it's a free negate if you have 3 fields in your battle area, which is extremely easy to do in this deck. Not an issue. It's a negate the attack, and you can kill up to a total energy cost of 3 or less, which basically means you can board wipe tokens and just kill certain cards that might be a problem. Homicidal Clones, It's block and negates essentially. Really, really good card. Definitely recommend playing. So moving on to the unison of the deck. We play 4 copies of King Vegeta, Umbral Invader. Very, very good. It has 3 effects. It's a 2 cost, 15k. Uptick 1, you can play any of your fields in the deck for free. It's really, really good. You can downtick 1, the opponent chooses one of their battle cards, 5 or less, and kills it. And active battle, it gains triple strike and 5,000 power for each field that you have in your battle area, which does include the big boy. Extremely good. Downtick 3, active battle. Really, really good finisher. It's a 9 times out of 10 people try to attack this because they don't want to take that triple strike threat. And 9 times out of 10 it does get negated, but we do play a card in the deck that if this does get negated, you can still gain value from the markers, which we'll show to you. The counterplays of the deck, I do play, obviously standard at this point, 4 charismatic villains. It's pretty much necessary, so it's like self-explanatory at this point. I also play 3 copies of Cooler Effortless Strike. It's basically a walk-in preemptive strike for 1 energy most of the time. Permanent, it gets reduced by 1 in hand only during your opponent's turn for every green extra card in your battle and in drop area. Very, very good. When you play it, if the opponent's got 8 or more cards in hand, they have to discard a card. So it's very, very good. Super combo of choice in the deck, I do play 4 copies of Paragus. It's basically the best generic green super combo in the game. My personal opinion, I think this should be in every King Cole deck unless you have a different strategy in mind, but this is just a really, really good super combo to start with. So for the targets that you can play from Anticipated Onslaught, I do play 3 copies of Frieza, Revive and Revealed. And what this card is, it's a 4 cost, dual attacker and a blocker, and it's 20k. It can be 25k with the other field, Terrified Realization, if there are 4 or more fields in play. It has a permanent where it gets reduced for 1 energy for every 2 green extra cards in your battle and our drop area. So this can come out as early as turn 2 for free, which is very, very good if you play with the field. And you can loop the field with the next card I'll show you, which makes this card very aggressive. It's really, really good, and it pairs well with a lot. If you can establish a lot of these in play at a time, it can be very deadly for the opponent. Its auto is when you activate its blocker skill, you can pop one of your own fields to restand it. So you can attack, restand, then you can block with it, pop a field, and then restand, and then block again if you want. Or you can just swing twice. I usually just swing twice because I want to be aggressive with these cards. I want to gain maximum value from it, but if I do need to block, I will keep it up. The next cards, I know a lot of people will probably be thinking, why am I not playing 4? Main reason is because I feel comfortable with 3. I've never really had an issue with the 4th came up. Like I say, this is just my own personal list and how I play the deck, and how I feel comfortable with the numbers and the ratios. If you want to change them, just change them. But on player, you search top 7 for a unison or one of your fields, and you have an active main for 1 energy. You can activate a field card from your drop area. So it's very, very good for being able to recycle your fields and just constantly gain value from them. Very, very good. When you combine this with Paragus the Sacrifice, this is very good. So Paragus the Sacrifice is an old promo. If you don't know what it does, you choose one of your green cards in your battle area other than himself, and you pop it, and you draw 1 card. So basically, for example, if you have a new ruler in play, and you have these 2, you can go Paragus, pop a new ruler, which allows you to draw 1 card. Then this one lets you draw 1 card and then discard 1 card. You can then activate Berry Blue, tap 1 energy, reactivate this from your drop area. Your leader will activate, allow you to draw a card, and then this will allow you to search top 3 and add a card. So you cycle through a lot of cards just for no reason. And it's really useful for not having to attack with your leader, because if they have a negate that shuts your turn down, it's really like heartbreaking to see that sometimes. But Paragus is really good, and I'll explain what Paragus is also really good for another card that I'll show you in a second. But for the one-offs, for one-off decks, I'll play 1 copy of Chilled, just for barrier removal. It's decent to pop something non-barrier in case I'm against yellow and they have that annoying Goku. That basically means my extra cards are 2. But it just pops cards. It's also useful against blue-yellow, so you can pop Bojack. Just having the 1 main board barrier removal is actually quite decent. And this is the card I was talking about, that if your unison gets negated and it's on like 4 or 5 markers, you can gain value from this. So active main, limit 1 for 1 green energy, and you have 3 more energy and you have a green unison in play. You can play the card and you can remove a marker from an opponent's unison. Once again, more removal on markers. Very good. But active main, once per turn, Spirit Boost X, green Unison card, gains 5k for every marker removed from a Unison using this skill. And if 2 or more markers were removed, it gains double strike. So if you have 5 markers on your Unison, you attack, and they negate it, you can just uptick to 6, and then play this for 1, and then you can rip all 6 markers off, and this will become like 40 to 45k double strike, which can swing for lethal damage. I typically tend to use this after I've used my overarm in the deck, or vice versa, use this then the overarm, but this just, it can steal games this. It's very, very good. And then for the tech that I play in the deck, I play 2 copies of Broly, Berserker of Freeze's Army, and a Broly Power Unleashed. So this is the old starter Broly chain, and this is the new card that came out in the most recent set, set 14. And like I say, Paragus the Sacrifice works really, really well with this, because what this does is it's similar as the Cooler counter, where it has the permanent, where it reduces its energy cost by 1 for every extra card in your battle and drop area. So as early as turn 1, this is basically at 1 cost, which is very good. But I only played 2 of it and 2 of this because it's more of a late game card. But it's unique, 15k, 5k combo. And if the opponent has 3 or more energy, when this card is removed from your battle area by skill or KO'd, you can discard 2 cards and you can play this 6-drop from your hand. So this is why late game strategy, the opponent needs to have 3 or more energy. But when they do, you can just play this either for free from your field spell, because it can't play this, or you just tap 1 to play it, attack with it, pop it, draw 1 card from Paragus, and then discard 2 unnecessary cards, and you play this from hand. It's a 6-drop, 5k, 25k double striker with a permanent. During battles where this card is attacking, the opponent cannot activate counter skills with energy cost 2 or more, which is really good against Blue Baby, because they can't activate any of their counter skills. Pretty much anything other than like single, like 1 energy negates and stuff, which is really, really good. Has a decent active battle as well, where you can discard a card to kill one of the opponent's battle cards. It doesn't ignore barrier, unfortunately, and we're not playing the 8-drop, so we're sticking with this. And the effect, when it's removed from your battle area, you can discard 2 cards and go up to the 8. I don't play the 8 because I feel it's very inconsistent and very cloggy, and I feel like 2 and 2 is, at the moment, a good ratio to play. You have a lot of draw power and a lot of digging in the deck, so you tend to see these all the time. These are flexible cards, you can play whatever you want, but I wanted to test this out because it seemed fun, and overall it definitely has performed really well, so I do like it, and I'll probably keep them in going forward, unless other cards become more relevant. But secret rare of the deck is the Ape. I think at the moment this is probably my favourite green secret in the game. It's very versatile, being able to tap 1, combo it, and pretty much kill anything ignoring barrier. And on turn 5 onwards, it can be a dual attack triple striker 40k, which is basically a game ending card just in general. Just for what this deck does and the play style of the deck, I think this is probably the most or the best secret for the deck. But like I say, just play whatever you want or whatever you have access to that works. So yeah, we play also Double Strike Kai. It's pretty standard, you know, if you know, you know, basically. And then the final 2 cards in the deck, I play 1 Bardock, Fighting Against Fate, which is the overarm choice of the deck, and then 1 copy of Jiren, Survival of the Fittest. This is basically a attack choice for my locals. This, you can literally play whatever you want instead of this if you don't want to play this. But I main this because there are certain members of my community that do play blue, and Android 17 Turn of the Tide is one of their win cons. I just always wanted to have the main board answer to that, in case they think I don't have the answer to it, and then they drop it and I win because of cards like this. Aside multiple, like another copy of this, but main board, always wanted to have the answer to it. If you don't want to play this, you don't have to. And the Bardock Fighting Against Fate is just another free 25k dual attacker that already complements the other dual attackers in the deck. Going on to the sideboard, I do play in the sideboard 2 copies of Android 18 Steadfast Technique. I'm not fully sold on having this on the main board just yet. I only recently just picked them up, and I want to test them in the sideboard at the moment. The sideboard's still a work in progress, but it's so far it's been working pretty well. Effect is, when comboed, you can discard an extra card from hand, and it gains 6,000 combo power for the turn, or for the battle. Well, for the turn. So when you combo it, you can discard an extra card that may not be useful for you, and it becomes 11,000 combo for the turn, which is actually really useful and very good in certain matchups. For the combo matchups where like they're very combo heavy, I play Bardock Paternal Unison. Basically, we use it only for the auto, but the other 2 effects can come up. When your opponent combos, you may place one card from their combo area into the drop area, and if you do, negate the skill for the turn. So against decks like Launch, where they combo a lot, you can rip combo pieces away. Against multicolor strategies like Cooler Mill, you can rip their multicolor cards away from them, forcing them to commit extra cards to the combo step just to play their cards. It's also good against Blue Bojack when they try to combo out their pieces. Rip that combo piece away and it prevents them from playing the card, which is very good. Its uptick is you can choose one of your green battle cards with an energy cost of 1 and kill it, and if you do, you rip a card from the opponent's hand. Against certain matchups that can come into play where you play your Berry Blues, you uptick, you kill your Berry Blue, rip a card out of their hand, mainly against Cooler Mill because I don't want to have cards in play for them to mill me cards. And the downtick 3 is it gains 5k and triple attack for the turn. Triple attack sometimes is better than triple strike, but yeah. 2, Sun Gohan Hidden Might. It's just a decent generic green stable at this point for sideboards. Very good card, mainly for the barrier removal, but yeah. For the blue matchup where they play the Majin Buu Unison, I do play 2 copies of Prince of Destruction Vegeta Prideful Warrior. It's a 4-cost 5k, 20k triple strike deflect with Servant, so it's basically a 30k, and it's a one-time use in this deck. Auto on play, if you leave the card as mono green, when it's played, you can choose an opponent's Unison and remove 3 markers from it. So it's really, really good. So you can attack your leader into their Majin Buu Unison, deal a damage to it, reduce it down to 3 markers, and then drop this from hand. And because it's got deflect, you can't trunks it. You play this, and you basically just kill their Unison. So a nice little thing is you can swing this to leader, and if you have the field that rips a marker from a Unison, you can pop that, rip a marker from their Unison, deal damage to their leader, tap 4, play this, kill their Unison, and basically means for the rest of the turn you don't have to worry about having to swing with whatever you want and then bottom decking it. And then because it has Servant, it will never be able to restand, but you can just use cards like Paragus the Sacrifice to kill it and draw a card. So yeah, I have that in there just for that matchup for the moment. For Weenie Rush decks where they just want to play a load of like cards for very little energy and play cards just for free, I have an extra cooler. I want to don't want to have to deal with very aggressive strategies where they just dump a load of cards. Another Chilled for more barrier removal. I don't want to play 2 in the main board. Having 1 in the main, 1 on the side felt comfortable. But yeah. 2 copies of Vegeta Protecting His Loved One, mainly against Baby because I don't like them untapping so much with their negates. Just dropping 1 of these can slow them down enough for you to kill them. Dropping 2 of these basically cripples them for their entire game. It wins me games this most of the time. If you can't deal with it early enough, it just basically helps me a lot. Like I said, the second copy of Jiren for blue matchups where they just use Android 17 as their win con. So yeah. And then the final 2 cards in the sideboard is 2 copies of Dorpal Black Marseille. It's pretty much standard at this point for sideboards. Generic decent sideboard card. It's basically just a decent hand control card if you try to play anything for free. Stops certain strategies and it just helps you win the game overall. So yeah, decent. And then tokens. And that was my take on King Cold. If you did enjoy the profile and you want to see more videos like this one, be sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any comments or feedback on the video or the deck itself, be sure to stick it in the comment section down below and one of us will be sure to get back to you on that as soon as possible. And I just want to say thank you very much for watching and I hope you all have a good day.